Good morning again, everyone. I hope your morning is going well. It would seem we have another overcast day, so it's going to be a little dark. And unfortunately, due to how early I have to get up to do this, there's not a lot of time to set up lighting. So anyway, don't really have a lot to talk about before we do this. The pregame has already been done. As a matter of fact, you watched it. And you may have noticed a little hesitation when I was doing the Viking Oracle Shuffle. That's because something told me that the guide cards were a little light. And I had to go back to the rune cards to find a few of my few deities kind of mingled among the runes. Sort of like yesterday when Suna was among them. Something told me to go looking for them, and I found both Thor and Hel sitting in both of them. So, if you're wondering what the book was on my coffee table that I kind of took away, it was Hunter S. Thompson's Kingdom of Fear. This is, let's see, how far am I into it? I'm only about 48 pages into it, but it's pretty good. I took a break from my spiritual reading to pursue a little light reading, and I found this and a few other Thompson books at Sanctuary Books over in Haddonfield, New Jersey. So if you are in the area and you're on Tanner Street, pop in, tell them Raven sent you. They're let me tell you a little bit about this bookstore. It's a very small space, and it is packed to the absolute gills with books. They beat internet prices, and on top of that, they're holding one for me. So when the next paycheck comes around, I will go and grab that one, and I will show you the find that I made. Let's just say when I stumbled across it, I was exceedingly happy. The first time I went in, I merely browsed, and I found a stack of Hunter S. Thompson books, which made me seriously, seriously happy. So let's get right down to this, because I gotta get it shot, chopped, and scored, stuck into the pipe, and sent through to you. Something tells me today's going to be a very, very big day. So our guide for today is, come on down, the Sunstone. So today's about finding our true north, about seeing through the haze, which is fitting given today. Today for me is a very overcast day, and it is on those overcast days that the Danish sailors would use a sunstone to find the sun and then triangulate their positions. So going from the spiritual into the natural, we have an owl spirit, and it says you can see clearly now. If it's one thing that owls are very, very good at, it is seeing in the dark. They are, of course, birds of prey, and those big eyes really do help them take in a lot of what little ambient light there is. And something tells me that this is good news. And of course we are kind of going into the natural world a bit. So it says right here, just what I said, even in the darkest night the owl sees clearly and is guided by every sense it has, including the first sense of intuition. Right now your sensitivities are turbocharged and you are receiving messages from all directions. You know, I did watched one of Brian's videos last night, and he did mention that we are getting information from all sides and angles. We are being inundated with it. I wonder why that is. We've had some slow-moving news days. Wonder why we're suddenly getting the bombardment. really do need to ask yourself about that one. That's important. So, but we are reminded to be wise and pay attention to what's between the lines and what is invisible to the naked eye, what cannot be heard with ears, and what others may not be able to perceive. With all your senses aroused, you have much knowledge available to you, but clarity will come as you sit with all that you are sensing, allowing your intuition to guide you in understanding the whole and not just the parts. And we're reminding you that the wisdom within you is informed by your keen senses and wisdom within the consciousness that we all share. So, remember, all those clouds, all that darkness, all that noise, all that chaos, we're already being given the tools to see completely through it and cut through the bullshit. I think we're being inundated with it. And it's something interesting. I do want to bring this up very quickly because I was actually reading it in this book last night. I didn't think it would come up, but I'd be willing to bet it's going to become a hot little item right here in this reading. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Let's see, here we go. Just give me one moment because this was, let's see, it was about fear in particular. Here we go. He says this: I understand that fear is my friend, but not always. Never turn your back on fear. It should always be in front of you, like a thing that might have to be killed. My father taught me, along with a few other things that have kept my life interesting. When I think of him, I now think of fast horses, cruel people, and lying FBI agents. There's no such thing as paranoia, he once told me. Even your worst fears will come true if you chase them long enough. Beware, son. There is trouble lurking out there in the darkness, sure as hell. Wild beasts and cruel people, and some of them will even pounce on your neck and try to tear your head off if you're not careful. It was a mean piece of wisdom to lay on a 10-year-old boy, but in retrospect I think it was the right thing to say. And it definitely turned out to be true. I wandered into that darkness many times in my life, and for many strange reasons that I still have trouble explaining. I could tell you a whole butcher shop full of stories about horrible savage beasts that lurk out there. Most of them beyond the wildest imaginations of a 10-year-old boy, or even a 20 or 30-year-old boy for that matter. Or even beyond imagining the imaginations of a teenage girl from Denver being dragged away from her family by a pack of diseased wolves. Nothing compares to it, the terror of a moment that rolls over you, like a rush of hot scum in a sewer pipe. The part that I found particularly interesting, the one that jumped out at me, was I understand that fear is my friend, but not always. Never turn your back on fear. It should always be out in front of you, like a thing that might have to be killed. And that's from his book, Kingdom of Fear. We don't let fear rule us, do we? Do we? Do you? I don't. I can't afford to. Nor do I want to. Alright, so let's get into the tarot, shall we? Let's see what we got for today. Kind of heavy vibes going on. We got a 10 of Cups. We've got a 7 of Wands. And we've got a 6 of Swords. Or no, 4 of Swords, I'm sorry. We got a 4 of Swords there, so looks like a pretty decent start to our day so far. So we do have water, fire, and air all together. Now, are you in what makes you happiest right now? That's the question. Because from that past position, you are going to need that. You're going to need to be reminded of what puts you at your absolute peak of happy here. And this is, of course, what's making a lot of us happy is sort of that family life, and you can see it with these two. These two are laid back, resting and enjoying each other's company. There's some relationship going on here, but are you in a relationship that is both filling your cup while you fill the others? If the answer is no, if it's draining yours, then you need to get the hell out of it. If the answer is yes, then it's time to do everything you can to ensure that it stays that way. At least I would. But with the wands, we are looking at some growth. It's going to take some effort and a little patience on your part, but I think you're going to be just fine. In the words of a former president who is now, well, late former president, stay the course, stay the course. Alright, so for the swords here, that's definitely a rest and recuperation, but really more contemplation. So this is more, you really need to examine things right now, or you will at some point, but right now is the time to grow. Now, from here, this looks really great. Right here in the tarot, we're just kind of focusing on this right now. We're not even looking at this. Pretty soon this will all come into focus very clearly. But with this in your past, this is the thing that's going to fuel the thought, because maybe it's time for growth between you and your soulmate, between you and your family, or maybe it's time to venture out on your own and create a new reality, something that is going to more or less light you up. That's where your sunstone and owl come in, because both of those working together for you will absolutely create that moment where you can rest and say, yeah, I did it. Awesome. Because I can tell you one thing. The one thing I'm really seeing in this, I'm seeing some people actually leaving relationships. I'm seeing someone out there is going to be taking a rest in their own solitude. They're not going to be heartbroken, but it will fuel that creativity from this Seven of Wands. And we're seeing a leopard resting among the wands. They're all pointed at him, and he's just like not even bothered. So, we all know that Cosmos has our back, the universe, spirit, whatever it is. So let's ask it, how do we do this? So here we are, cracked open. We got Hyreth. And we have this double mission here. Okay, so we need to have a little bit of a talk here. And it's a very simple one. I know I can relate to it. So right now, after all that, you might be feeling a little like, you're hitting rock bottom. And you may feel a little hopeless, a little desperate. That is fine, that is normal. Guess what? When you've hit that rock bottom, there's nowhere to go but up. That's the beautiful side. I know one thing, when I run into particularly difficult circumstances, the first thing I'm always thinking is, man, I just want to go home. F this, I just want out of here. But if you do just kind of throw your hands up and walk off, you're not really doing yourself much good. There are days where I have serious difficulties really getting the message out of these cards. And there are days I just want to go, you know what, fuck this. Hand to the lens, shut the camera off, and just not even post it. But I do it anyway, because that's where the double mission comes in. You're serving the world simply by being you. Now, whatever that, what does that look like? How does being you serve the world? How are you putting that in? That's the question. But you have to be cracked open, you have to be a little vulnerable, and you have to say, okay, whatever higher power to which you ascribe, which is it the universe? Is it a series of gods, a pantheon, or, the Christian God, Yahweh? What does that look like to you? Because that's where you need to turn right now. Turning there is going to provide that growth. And on top of that, I don't see any reason why I wouldn't preserve this. But for some of us, it's not going to. For some of us, it'll provide that relief that we need right now. And that's where you may even be providing relief to someone else. You just never know. So that's why the double mission card is important. Now let's go to the runes, so I can go ahead and get this in the pipe. I do have to get the car down to the shop. It needs an oil change, and to have that AC looked at. It's been on the fritz lately. Okay, so we have Dagas, Awaz, and Ingus. We still looking at a little death and rebirth here? I think we are. But I don't think it's something we need to worry too much about, thankfully. So once again, you've got some protection there. You do have that sort of death of old things. This is where I'm telling you something. Okay, this is where the runes are telling us something. Okay, for this one, you're definitely protected. We can see that just in the armor that she's wearing, which is, quite fitting for her. But with Awaz, we are also looking at that. Oh, we're all here. I am. I can't speak. This is what happens when you're operating on a little bit of sleep. Sorry, Mr. Bub was a holy terror last night. But we are having a bit of a breakthrough today. And we really need to focus on that breakthrough. But with Awaz, we are looking at we're a little defensive, but we do have some trustworthiness and protection. I'm definitely seeing protection in here. But if you notice the armor and the stone that makes that memorial here, these two are solid. Same as this. Same as that with Ingus. And we're looking at a little relief there too with Ingus. But the overall message to this, which I'm purely amazed at how this is going, you definitely need to be setting those boundaries, because that's what's going to provide that protection for you. But you will create that profound change. And also profound is your profound strength. Now, you've got to take action. You've got to learn from doing the thing. Whatever that thing is, whatever that motivation, that drive, or that inspiration comes from, that is where you're going to be taking it. So let's sum up and get out of here finally. So today you're going to have to cut through a lot of noise. Cutting through your noise is going to create a little bit of You're going to be contemplating things. You're going to be weighing odds, and it's going to seem overwhelming, but that's not to worry about. Don't worry about getting overwhelmed. Just take it for what it is. You are being inundated with bullshit. Don't get drawn into it. Don't become it. Just understand that today, this is about you. You are creating profound change in your life, but it's got to build. You're still going through the process. It's still time to trust that process. Still time to trust your intuition and move forward. Don't worry about things in your past. Right now, we're still trying to tell those old stories. We're not creating new ones. That's what it's about, creating that new story and becoming the hero or heroine of your own story. I'm reminded of something, especially with this double mission card, just real quick, and I'll end it on this note. Rebecca Campbell, in her book Light is the New Black, said, if they were, I'm going to paraphrase, if they were to make a movie about your life, it wouldn't have to be about your entire life. Just say this moment in your journey. What would that look like? And at the time, I had no idea. Like, the minute she posed that question in that book, I just drew a blank. I have no idea. And she said, what would the theme song be? And in that moment, I had no idea. And then she said, what would the tagline be? It would just have to be one sentence. So you have a title of a movie, then you have a tagline. Taglines are usually like, let me see here. I'm trying to think. Movie with a good tagline. Well, let's just say like Deep Impact, for example. Deep Impact had a tagline which I can't remember, but it was about hope. And good thing I got my phone here. I can look it up. See, Deep movie tagline. And this is going someplace, so I assure you. Let's see what we got here. Here it is. So, the tagline for this movie was Oceans rise, cities fall, hope survives. Right there. And that got me to thinking, so I kind of worked it in reverse. My tagline would definitely be shine on. I tell you that every day. Because it's important. That's what all of this is designed to get you to do. Shine on, continue. Where did I get it? Well, I got it from my theme song, Van Halen, Humans Being. I actually shared that video a couple months ago, and I want to say the first few videos I did, I let you see that. And what would that movie be about? Well, obviously, it would be about me agonizing over starting to do this. And then with a little encouragement and help from my friends, shout out to you, Brian. You know, the rest of you know exactly who you are. I raise my cup of tea to all of you. They encouraged me to actually start this YouTube channel. It's bound to reach someone out there. And I hope it does. I hope this message resonated with you. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I enjoy doing it. Even when the readings are bad and they're more warning than anything, I still enjoy it. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope you take something from this reading into your day with you. I love you all. I don't think I get to tell you that enough. And as always, well, do I really really need to say it? Yeah, I think I do. Shine on.